Everybody, welcome to this week's Get Booked. I'm Jennifer. This is
Sam.
And we have a new month of fantasy books that we're going to talk about. Check out our new book, bingo sheet. I love those doors.
Oh, those look great. Like
I'm
little fairy door.
I know. I'm such a fan of doors. I don't know. I'm that person who goes around and takes pictures of doors. Yeah, that's me. Okay, so we are talking about witches today, which is the top square here, and we have a mix of YA and adult titles. Sam, take it away. What do you got?
All right. So my first one today is, and I'm sorry I have them printed out, but is Witches of East End by Melissa Dela Cruz, and it follows the Beauchamp. I hope I said that right. Women, Joanna and her daughters Freya and Ingrid, as they go about their lives in their beautiful Long Island town, but they have a secret. They are all powerful witches, banned from using their magic. So it's got like a little mythology, a lot of family drama actually, and like a little bit of figuring out like that you can't really conceal your true self. So this series is a great read if you like magic with the mythological like inspiration, which was why I picked it up, was that it had kind of both worlds in it. Wonderful series, also made into a TV show that I couldn't get into it. The books are better. That's my first one.
They usually are. I really like that author. She does a lot of YA too, and she's written a really interesting vampire series called Blue Bloods. Which I think is just optioned, maybe. And then she wrote an au pair series, which was like in the Hamptons kind of Gossip Girl style, which was also really fun. All right, my first one is Bras and Broomsticks. This is by Sarah Mlynowski. It's so much fun. This is the first of three books. Four.
I think it's four.
And here's the back because it's just really fun. So this is a little bit of an older title, but it's just super good. So Rachel is 14 and apparently magic runs in her family, but it skips her and goes to her younger sister Mary. She's not thrilled about that, but she's thinking maybe I can have Mary use this, and maybe this cute boy will like me. Maybe we'll figure out our parents. Their parents are divorced, and there's some potential marriaging happening with a new stepmom. So there's a lot of drama. It's so much fun. The magic doesn't go really as planned most of the time, but that's part of the fun. So that's a really fun YA.
What could go wrong when you have your little sister use magic, right?
Exactly. Sounds logical.
Okay, so this is The Invisible Library by Genevieve Cogman. And I picked all series today, so I'm sorry, but there's, okay, so this is the first book in a very large series. There's 8 of them, and it's not specifically witchy, but the series has elements that are like steampunky and supernatural, and has like magical characters and like things that happen that are out of the ordinary, definitely magical. So the series is about a team of secret undercover librarians, which is awesome, who travel to alternate realities to acquire and save works of fiction to bring back to the Invisible Library, which is this like interdimensional like building that is like not part of space or time or whatever. It's super, super cool. So Irene is the librarian, and she brings along her assistant Kai, and they have to travel to alternate London in the first book and save like a very dangerous book. When they get there, the book has already been taken. So what I really liked about this series though is Irene and Kai's relationship was really fun to read, because you just get like snippets as each book goes along, and you've got 8 of them to like uncover all of these cool secrets and stuff. Definitely, I kind of hope they make this one into a series. So good. Invisible Library series, do it. Am I selling you?
My second book it's large. It's actually 3 books in one. This is a YA series. It's so good. I was immediately hooked, and I was like, oh my god, I need the next book immediately. So the first book is Book of Shadows. So I would say if you like Charmed or that sort of TV show, like this would be up your alley. So Morgan kind of thought she was, your average 16-year-old girl. Then she meets this boy who is a handsome leader for witches, and he kind of shows her that she's a witch, but she's not just a regular witch. Like, she is really powerful, and not everyone is excited about that or treats her really well. And there's some secrets that are being kept from her. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil it, but this was really, really good. So we have this volume, and I think we have the next volume. There are 13 books in total, and then I think it kind of skips a bunch of years, and I think there's like a continuation with when they're adults. So
that's so many.
I know. It was really good. They're really addicting, though.
Yeah, I mean, when you're the most powerful person, like, that's probably a threat, right? Like, is that?
Yeah. Some people don't like that.
Okay, all right. Disclaimer. I'm sorry. I'm gonna always talk about this book, People's Colchester. This is Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. It's my favorite. Like, I don't buy books, like, personally. I don't. And I bought this series because I had to have it. So I have most likely definitely talked about it before. I kind of view it as Twilight, but for a very much more sophisticated palette. So season 3, they made it into a TV show. Season 3 comes out in January, and I cannot wait. Oh my God, it's been amazing. So Diana is a very powerful witch, but she chooses not to use her power. She's actually like a scholarly alchemist and like studying at Cambridge, I think, I think it's Cambridge. So this book has some like forbidden love and like family issues, scholarly artifacts, and like many like really good historical references, where you're just like, oh my God, she tied all of this stuff in. How did she do that? I reread these, and I'm always pulled into the story of Diana and Matthew Claremont, who is this like super hot, like science guy, doctor, but he's also a vampire. So, so this is a trilogy technically, but it also has an offset prequel that also kind of happens in the future, like where you go and you find out like the family's past, which I'm reading right now. So please read Discovery of Witches. It's my favorite.
All right, my last one is The Bone Maker. This is by Sarah Beth Durst, and it's also an unlikely hero. They're fun bookmarks. They match our nice bingo sheets that Val did. Very nice. So this is a really interesting book. So Sarah Beth Durst writes a lot of fantasy, and she kind of writes all across the board. So she writes kids, and she writes YA, and she writes adult, and every single one of them I've loved, and they're all a little bit different, but they all have like some fantasy elements. So this kind of asks the questions: what happens when what happens after you defeat evil? So 25 years later, they ended this war. It was a terrible war. There's all these magicians, and Kreia, who is the group's leader, has kind of isolated herself in this tower. She uses the magic of bones to keep her husband alive a little bit at a time. So he's been dead for 25 years. She wakes him up every now and then. And it's like these magics from this bone, which is illegal. So she has to be like really secretive about it. But also, every time she does it, there's consequences, because magic has consequences. So it's really interesting, and she's thinking if she gets enough bones, she can wake him up for a long time. And she's thinking about where would there ever be enough bones, and she's like, oh, the battlegrounds. So she goes back to the grounds of this big war, and she kind of thinks that the person that the big bad villain that they thought they killed, she thinks maybe that they didn't actually kill them. And so she's like, oh God, what do I do? So she goes back to the one person, her ex-best friend 25 years ago. And she's like, okay, we have to figure this out. And she's not sure if her ex-best friend is going to throw her out, if she's going to be welcoming, because they haven't talked in like 25 years. So it's a really interesting premise. And the magic in here is really interesting, kind of quirky and just really fun. So this was a really good book. Loved it. And it's new, so there's that too.
Oh, you picked a new one. Look at you. Fancy.
Well, 2 older ones and 1 newer one.
Yeah, I mean, I picked all super old. That's fine. So yeah, that was I like the witchy ones a lot. Like I tend to read a lot of them.
And we have so much to explore on a new board.
I know, I'm so excited. This is a good board. I'm up my alley. Thanks, Val. So we will see you next week with a brand new square. Yeah, have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the beautiful weather.
Yes. Bye everybody.